welcome back. A lot has happened since the last episode. It's been a while. Progress is sometimes slow, but I'll walk you through where I'm at. So, a few things in the engine bay have changed since last time. A couple of shiny things, new things that will hit you in the face right away. So, got the JSP catch can and overflow combo here. Got some nice radium fittings on here, and this is not fully secured yet, but this is going to the back of the valve cover, which you'll also notice is new. And the other hose comes underneath and attaches to the port just below here. So that has a like M14 to AN6 adapter on it, I want to say. This is probably not final. They did like a really bad job cutting this, but regardless, there's an intake on it now. Everything's plumbed in. There's the IATs on here. The coolant temp sensor here needed extending to reach and had to get a sensor. I think last time none of these cooling hoses have been made up. So this is fairly straightforward. It's just different silicon bits routed and then sealed with these Gates power grip connectors. You can see the lower one just snaking under here and kind of passes through. New brake master is on here with a couple of new lines. These are just hell lines because the old hard lines were leaking. Probably at some point I'll want to redo all of the lines. What else? Wiring continued, so you'll notice like everything is plugged in. Got grounds on here. The rye wire harness gives you pretty much everything, so there's very little that you have to still wire in. One of those things is here, so you can see I bought some Deutsch connectors. There's a spow fan that I've mounted to the radiator. So rye wire, we'll look inside in a moment. There's one connector that you have to start connecting things into. So this runs all the way back into the car. The other is just ground. So that's one thing. I wanted the existing chassis wiring to work, and the pickup point for that was down here. This is going to be difficult to one hand. But this is a Chevy or some kind of GM like positive cable cover that I've hacked around a little bit to make it work. But that's nice. It kind of covers it up, stops people accidentally touching, grounding. I don't know if this is final routing, if this is really the way I want it to go, but right now that's how it's set up. Obviously, everything on the intake is connected, including one of the things last time we discussed, the throttle cable being too long. This one fits really nicely. This is from a EK Civic. It is still a little bit long. I haven't fully secured it, and this is just a hack, not final, just something to actually support it. And the actual rubber grommet here requires some detail work with a Dremel, shall we say, to make it fit, but something I'd seen Jimmy Oakes do. What else up front? This kind of looks like it for now. On the interior, I have seats mounted and a harness bar. At some point, that harness bar will go and make way for a full roll cage, but for now, this is fine. Mounting seats in this is actually pretty challenging. Previous owner left me some T3 seat rails. If you have T3 seat rails or you're familiar with them, you're probably like, they don't look right. Well, I'm 6 foot, which is not crazy tall, but headroom is limited, especially by the time I'm going to go and put a helmet on. Some of it may be what seats that you have. You can kind of see that these sort of flex outwards. And the original mounts have more material on them up top. So in order to actually make it sit low enough and not have the mount itself foul the seat, I had to cut top parts of it off, and that's on both sides. In general, I don't know how much I love these mounts. There's kind of weird things about them that I haven't really decided if I like, but I also don't want to just completely hack them to bits at the same time. You'll sort of see just here, behind here, that's the bolt for the seat rail itself. And so the fact that these kind of extend so far back means like getting these in and out and bolting them up is a nightmare. Like you sort of have to keep them loose, like lift some things, tighten some things, move it all around. And then after all that, like I can't even get it any lower than this, and it's still not that low. Like I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to delete the sunroof to gain an inch or two. And then in addition to that, like if I bring you around and you take a look at the front here, and we'll see if I can get a good angle on this. It might be difficult. Like, look at that gap. You'd think that the mount would not have this gap, and it would sit flush on the box section. And that's true of like left and right and passenger and driver. It's not just limited to this one in particular. So anyway, that's the journey of the seats. Last time I showed that I'd started work on getting the electrics, and we were talking about wiring, and I described how it's kind of annoying that the firewall isn't flat, and I kind of just realized I'd been pretty stupid about it and trying to mount things directly. So you can see like there's a broader mounting plate now, so that sits on the firewall, and then everything else can just bolt neatly to that, right? So ECUs on its standoffs. This is the fuse box. I need to find out a solution for this, but got the power bus and strip there. So everything's pretty nice. There's just a little bit of, once everything's finalized, got to do a bit of cable tying and so on. So what do you have to do down here? Dashboard is a project. There's going to end up being an S2000 cluster in here, but not yet. I have some more wiring to do. Pretty much everything else you don't have to touch. This is the main one that you have to touch. So what you see right here is this black wire. Let me make sure I'm actually pointing you at the thing. This black wire in, what pin is that? Pin 2. That's positive for the fan. Red wire is for the fuel pump. This thinner black wire I actually have going to an exhaust valve. We'll talk more about that in a second, but this is the easiest way to get yourself switched power. And fuel pump and fan are also automatically controlled by the ECU. So this switch panel here gives you an override. So I wanted to be able to isolate my valve controller. So it's on right now. And then you can override fan and fuel, right? So you'll hear the fuel pump running, starts up the fan. So this is really nice when you're trying to test things and set fuel pressure and all the rest. So this is a really nice setup. And then I've just got an old phone here on a quad lock. I'm going to use the Bluetooth that the K24 offers to get some readouts on here. Yes, last time I think the boss was in, but not the steering wheel. So this is just an OMP unit. And that pretty much covers the interior. Finally got the boot, or the trunk, as you Americans would say, sorted with new lifters. That was kind of pretty annoying for a while. And then, back here is where that wiring comes back. So for the valve controller, for the fuel pump, I'm realizing at this point I'm going to need to probably run a fresh cable for the fuel level sender. Either that or I trace the existing chassis wiring, but that does have to go to the to the S2000 cluster at some point. So yeah, there's a couple of Deutsch connectors here. One is the fuel pump and the other is for the exhaust valve. This is not mounted yet, but I want to put it somewhere. And then I've had a full exhaust made up. If you're in California, you'll know about spool and fill probably. So this is a Valvetronic, just universal muffler. Yeah, and if I can find the button, you might even see the switch. Okay, so valve closed, valve open, and so on. So that's really neat. Yeah, the exhaust itself is it's kind of a work of art. It's going to be a little difficult for you to see it, but yeah. I'm pretty sure you can get an idea just even from this sneak peek of how nice this is. It's all V-band, it's 3-inch the whole way through. Yeah, really good. So the car starts, it runs, it idles. You can see right now, just trying to get coolant bled and sorted, trying to establish a good base map on it. And then it'll be off to the dyno for tuning. So probably provide another update then. That's all for now.